In a video addressed to the leaders of the European Union, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stressed that Ukraine is striving to end the war as soon as possible. The path for this have already been prepared. In September 2022, Ukraine introduced the Peace Formula, which consists of 10 points. To discuss it at all levels, Volodymyr Zelenskyy proposed holding a meeting in one of the European capitals.
I am ready to schedule a summit in Kyiv in the near future, but we all understand very well that under the current conditions, many leaders unfortunately will not be able to come to Ukraine. Therefore, I urge you to help us with this. We can organize a summit in one of the world's capitals, in one of the European capitals. Won't that add global strength to Europe? It will definitely add.
For the first time, Ukraine called on the EU to discuss its version of the Peace Formula in December 2022. Now European leaders, together with Ukraine, continue to work on a peace plan and support the holding of a summit to implement it.
The European Council welcomes the UN General Assembly resolution on principles of the Charter of the United Nations underlying a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in Ukraine, which was adopted with broad support from the international community. It reiterates its support for President Zelenskyy's peace formula. The European Union will continue to work with Ukraine on the 10-point peace plan, from a press release of the European Council.
To regain its territories, Ukraine needs more weapons and diplomatic support of Western partners. Delay in deliveries leads to the risk that hostilities will continue.
Despite the fact that every hour on the battlefield matters, the delay in supplying long-range missiles to Ukraine is already significant, and it does not allow us to push back the positions of Russian terrorists from Kherson, from Zaporizhia, from our other cities, which are constantly shelled by Russian long-range missiles.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy stressed that it is impossible to give an aggressor country the opportunity to circumvent sanctions. Therefore, now it is necessary to prepare a new package of restrictions that will cut off the ways for Russia to evade sanctions.
On the one hand, global efforts are still not enough to prevent Russia from adapting to the sanctions, to prevent them from being circumvented through third countries. On the other hand, the European Union is not signaling to the world that sanctions against Russia will increase. Sanctions must be expanded. There can be no even a hint of delaying sanctions decisions. And even more so, there can be no erosion of sanctions, especially under the manipulative cover of food security. Strong sanctions mean security. Easing sanctions is an invitation to new crises, including the food one.
The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said in Brussels that the new sanctions against Russia will just concern the impossibility of circumventing them.
We have introduced the possibility in the 10th package on listing either personalities or companies or entities where we see, also in third countries, that they circumvent the sanctions. So a bundle of measures taken already, but this is certainly not enough, and therefore the 11th package of sanctions will also and mainly deal with the question of circumvention and how we can get against it, go against it.
Russia is trying to legalize its aggression and does not intend to stop. According to international policy expert Petro Oleshchuk, unlike Ukraine, the Kremlin is only set to escalate.
Но мы должны говорить о справедливом мире.
But we must talk about a just peace, about a peace that will be lasting, which will not be just a respite for the aggressor in order to continue aggression, but a peace that will really create the preconditions for peace to establish itself in the region for a long time. And for this, it is necessary to proceed from the principles of international law, from the principles of the UN Charter, about the impossibility of changing the borders of states by force. Therefore, it is important for Ukraine to hold the appropriate summit where they would discuss and approve the Ukrainian vision of the peace.
According to the sociological study Eurobarometer, 74% of Europeans support economic sanctions against Russia. 65% of those interviewed are in favor of the supply of weapons and other military assistance to Ukraine. Most EU citizens are satisfied with the measures taken by the European Union against Russia's aggressive war in Ukraine. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Belokudrya, UATV News.